people than anybody, Coach Force.
I do. Thankfully, it's fun. So get a touch. Everybody but the quarterbacks in some form or fashion. So that's probably the fun thing about being a special teams coordinator. Just all the relationships and you really get to meet the young guys kind of where they're at. You come into a place like this, they all think they're going to be, a Heisman winner from day one, and then everybody has their journey. And I kind of feel like my niche is pouring into those guys, bridging the gap, kind of breathing life into them, giving them the role, and then once they're ready, for that next step, they're ready. So that's kind of my niche in this whole thing.
So how about some young people that have been standouts on special?
The big ones, Bray Hubbard's a perfect example. Like he was killing it on special teams, got an opportunity with an injury and hit the ground running, had confidence, had made a bunch of big plays on kickoff, and that's the most immediate, that literally just happened. Drake Kirkpatrick, J.O., Justin, a linebacker, he plays on every unit, multiple positions on punt as a true freshman, which is unbelievable. But we got a lot of guys.
So when you go through the recruiting process and kind of see a class, what kind of stands out to you in terms of a guy that you're that guy's going to be a good gunner, or that guy's going to be a good punt returner, physical attributes, whether it's size, speed, what kind of stands out to you?
The same thing. They all working on defense. You love length, you love speed. For me though, what I really get into, especially when they're here, but is all you guys should be able to do this. Now it's just who has the case of the wants. Who wants to go cover a kickoff? Who wants to go cover a punt? So you're doing that balance of here's why it helps you, here's why it helps the team, and try to appeal to all their voice of reason. Okay, this helping the team is helping you, to get them to want to do it.
What about a kicker and punter?
Kickers. A lot of it's just when you watch the film. You watch enough of it, you see a difference, but how fast does the ball move after they kick it? That first 4 to 5 yards, is it kind of slow, or is it, flying? And then height, the first 3 or 4 yards, you kind of want it 7 yards up quick. And then kicking off the tee is a big thing. And then punters, is just hang time and, gross yards, obviously, but then can they hit the 4, 5, 4, 6 balls to give you a chance? Because this league's unforgiving. You hit the wrong ball, you got somebody who's gonna make it look stupid really fast down there.
Speaking of punters, just what have you seen in the development of James Burnip? And then also, as someone that kind of knows what you're talking about, what do you see him in terms of pro potential at the next level?
He has grown so much just mentally. I'm so proud of him, just his day in, day out approach, his workman attitude. And he was great when I got here. I'm not taking any credit of that, but just how he handles his day to day has been just fun to see. That's why you get into coaching. But he's the best punter I've had. He's got a chance to accomplish every goal that he's set out in his whole journey. He's gonna play a long time on Sundays.
I'm writing something looking back on his transition. Has there been any funny cultural moments with in terms of him coming over to Australia?
Just for my little bit here, seeing him, and obviously he'd been here for 3 years, so he's transitioned a little bit, but he just says some funny stuff. The accent always cracks you up, obviously, especially when he gets angry. It comes out really thick and heavy. So all the specialists and even coaches will get a good laugh. He shakes a putt in practice, and you get full-fledged Australian for 10 seconds. But that just some of the culture difference. We're talking about holidays and stuff, and hey, this is what we do there. We know Halloween's stupid. What are you guys talking about? It's just different worlds as far as that stuff goes.
Thanks.
No doubt.
You talk about guys having the wants to want to be on kickoff and punt coverage. Is it ever hard to convince younger guys of that, or is it you have enough guys that want to do that and realize that's kind of their opportunity to get on the field?
Well, thankfully here, taking this place over with what Coach Saban has done, there was always kind of that standard. So I got to take the baton and carry it on. But there's been places where it hadn't been that. And one of my favorite quotes about coaching is Steve Kerr that says 90% of coaching is creating a culture and 10% strategy. So I just fully believe, I set myself on fire, hey, this is the most important thing in the world, day in, day out, and I'm unwavering. People buy into that and feed into that. So is it picture perfect? Always no. But as always, you can paint that picture of, hey, this is how this is going to help you and help the team. Guys buy in.
writing something on the high school playing careers of the staff. I've gotten everybody except for you and Coach Roach.
Yeah.
What high school did you go to? What position you played? Some of the basic nuts and bolts.
Yeah, so I went to a little small school in Oklahoma, the northwest corner. Alva was my hometown.
ALVA?
ALVA. We're the Gold Bugs. So I got the most unique mascot story ever. I'm the Gold Bugs in high school. I played at Pittsburgh State. I was the Gorillas. Then I was the Golden Gophers. Then I went to Southern Illinois. I was the Salukis. And then I was Eastern Michigan. They were the Eagles, but they used to be the Hurons, so I'm going to claim that. And then I was a Sooner, obviously, for 2 years, and then an Elephant, Crimson Tide now, so got a journey there. But 2A school. I grew up working grain elevators. I mean, it's a country school. Played offensive line, defensive line. Just journeys and what God has entitled for you. My junior year, first game, dislocated my knee, got hit. I mean, I got a scar, 2 surgeries, ACL, LCL, PCL, both meniscus, 6 screws that hold this thing together. So battled back, was going to go to Oklahoma State to be a student. And then right before signing day, Pittsburgh State called and basically asked me to walk on. Went up there for a day trip, fell in love with it. Ended up being a 3-year starter, team captain. And just kind of, was right place, right time, which led to me meeting a guy named Jerry Kill, who got me hired in Minnesota when he was there, and it just all played out.
How'd you hurt the knee? Game practice?
It was a game, first game. Playing Sealing High School, never forget. Playing left defensive end, 2-minute drill, we're winning. I may or may not have been a little fat and out of shape in my left foot, and I just get hit when I was planted. And it tweaked the nerve. So when it happened, it hurt, but it wasn't like bad. So I try to walk off the field, and then like my leg buckles, like you get the ooh, head coach like catches me. And then he was at the doctor the next day, and surgery that Monday. So
You were not a punter or a kicker?
I was not. So O-line, D-line in high school, center in college. When I went to Minnesota, like I had life figured out. I'm gonna be an O-line coach, and this is my wheelhouse. And then when I went to Minnesota, it was like a volunteer. And basically Jerry Kill didn't want to be by himself. So I was there to get talked at and get popcorn and cool things like that. But it was the best thing for me. I learned so much, and he was big into special teams. And then his advice was like, hey, if you want a job, like this is something that people don't want to do, and it's important, get good at it. And just kind of ran with it from there.
Did you get a chance to say hi to Jerry Kill in Nashville?
I did. Gave him a big old hug, and but there's him and Tim Becks, the OC at Vanderbilt. He was my offensive coordinator at Pittsburgh State, and a couple other guys at Minnesota. Rob Reeves, Jay Sawvell's the head coach at Wyoming. But there's about 5 guys I text once a year, and just like, hey, thank you so much for pouring into me. Because if it wasn't for those people, taking a chance and holding my hand at times, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So.
Talked about being at Oklahoma before this. Just what's this week like for you playing Oklahoma? Kind of going back home a little bit.
It's
the emotions.
I haven't slept at all. It's I don't want to say emotional, but I grew up in Oklahoma. My senior year, like literally played Friday nights, got in the car with my best friend, 11 a.m. kickoffs, drove 3 hours, watched the games, came back. So working there for 2 years was like literally a dream come true. And then going back. When I took the job, I talked with the specialists there and told them that there's so many, like RJ Spears Jennings is a safety, Billy Bowman, Jacoby Johnson. There's a lot of like positional guys that played special teams that I never got to say goodbye to. So excited to give some of those guys a hug if they want to, and if not, I'll put my head down and cry. But there's some bittersweetness to it for sure.
2 more questions.
Going back like last month, South Carolina had a unique onside kick against y'all. Just what did you get to see that? What is your thoughts of that? And is that in the bag here? Or?
It's James works it a little bit here and there, but it was like how football goes, right? We didn't know what they were gonna do, so they kick it. We call a timeout, but we were like strategically as it's playing out. I'm like, hey coach, see the formation, let's see the kick, because there wasn't a tee out there, and like we scoop it up easy, right? And it's like, okay, we're good. Get aligned a little bit differently. And then the hard part with that was, we work that spinning kick, but it's off a tee usually when we do it. I've never seen somebody do it from a drop kick. And then the guy that did it is a lefty. So our guys are righty, so it spins a little bit different, and so it ends up hitting off of us. And I mean, those things are hard. And then all that, playing out off the drop kick. So, every kickoff return period, like we hammer our guys with onside kicks. and then doing onside kick period hands period every Wednesday and Thursday. But that's one we work now, with the drop kick too, because it's hard.
It's James doing it, not.
James does it, yeah, and we got other things in the back too.
Last one right here.
What was it about Alabama and Coach DeBoer that you leave Oklahoma for this opportunity?
Just people and prayer and like what I'm a big believer in. God tells you where He wants to be if you just shut up and listen, which is very, very hard to do most of the time. But He reached out, and we just never. I met him once at a camp in Northwestern. I don't even know if he remembers this, but we bumped into each other for like 3 minutes, and it's like, hey, yeah, I coached I'm at Southern, hey, I was there too. But I followed him, so many places. We just knew so many people. Where it kind of came up, it was just like, hey, this makes a lot of sense for where I'm at in life, or where I think God wants me in life. But it was hard. I mean, like I said, I grew up a fan. Coach Venables, I owe him the world. Like, he pulled me out of Eastern Michigan to go home and coach at a school like that. It wasn't easy, but ultimately, after 3 nights of prayer and not much sleep, it was just what I felt like I needed to do. So
That's it, Coach. Thank you.
thank you.